Hello, welcome back to another episode of Collider Mailbag. This is the show where we take all of your questions through the email. You guys have submitted all your questions throughout the weeks and the months, and we've gone through them, and we've picked out a bunch, and hopefully you're happy with the ones we picked out because we're going to read them anyway. Joining me today, as always, it is Natasha Martinez.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Good. Happy to hear it. And next to Natasha, it is the Tzeng master himself, Dennis Tzeng. What's up, man?
How's it going? It's no football today.
No, I know.
Football.
I know. Otherwise, we'd be screaming at the top of our lungs. Okay, so we have some really fun ones that you guys have sent in. Excited to talk about them. And if you didn't know already, all you have to do is head on over to collidervideo@gmail.com, submit those questions, and we'll try to go through them. Some good ones. Natasha, what do we got?
Juan Cristobal Rojas writes, due to the success of Deadpool as an R-rated superhero movie, do you think it is possible that we might eventually see an R-rated version of Venom? Since Spider-Man is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, yet still belongs at Sony, I think it would be great if Sony followed in Deadpool's tracks and made an R-rated version of Venom or even Carnage within the MCU. What do you think are the possibilities of that happening? Is it clear that Disney won't make any R-rated MCU films, rather limit the R-rated material to Netflix?
I think Sony needs to concentrate on making a successful PG-13 film first, because their Spider-Man has not worked. That's why they had to acquire the help of Marvel. Because whatever you think the deal is having, the reason you're going to see Kevin Feige's name on it is because he's going to be helping produce that film. So I don't think we need to see an R-rated Venom film yet. Because I'm serious. You really have to concentrate on that PG-13 universe, because now Spider-Man is a part of the MCU. And in order to do that, you've got to really, I mean, it's Spider-Man. So obviously Spider-Man needs to stay in PG-13. I don't think you're going to see an R-rated Venom film unless they can knock down like 6 or 7 successful PG-13 films, and I don't even think it's necessary to do it. Dennis?
I don't think we're ever going to see it.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because would I like to see an R-rated Venom movie? Yes, I would. The problem is a Venom movie needs Spider-Man. So let's say you have Spider-Man in an R-rated Venom movie. All the kids want to see that movie that Spider-Man's in. So they're going to tell their parents, I want to see this Venom movie. I want to see this Venom movie. But it's rated R. So, and then on the flip side of that, okay, let's say you're like, okay, we won't have Spider-Man in it, so the kids won't have to see it. Really? They're going to do a Venom movie without Spider-Man? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So I highly doubt we're ever going to see one.
I don't think we are either, because this question's going to come up so much because of Deadpool. It's like, are we ever going to see a rated R Chipmunks?
Yes.
It's like there's so many of these questions that are going to come up. So
I thought it was already rated R with all the poop and fart jokes.
It's freaking shit rats. To me, I think that it's not going to happen. It would be cool to see, and I think that you're right though in regards to Disney and Marvel being really going to do their rated R properties on Netflix. They have found a medium that works for them there. So why would you have to do it on the big screen? Because you look at that trailer for Daredevil season 2 with the Punisher. That is going to be rated R. I mean, that's going to be full rated R. I know we got into it last week a little bit about whether I still think that Jessica Jones is a rated R series, but
yeah, I mean, I got into a lot of arguments online about that. Yeah, just because I think I need to clarify. It's not like R-rated, but at the same time, it's more hardcore than a PG-13. It falls into
lots of the sex.
It falls into a category what I call is TVMA for basic cable. So you have TVMA for like the premium channels, like Game of Thrones on HBO, and that's definitely R-rated. But if you watch anything on basic cable that's TVMA, that's where they hit, which is like they go, but they don't cross this boundary. They don't drop F-bombs. They don't show nudity. Like, okay,
didn't she curse? Isn't there cursing in Jessica Jones?
Yeah, they say she shit
I
a
thought
couple
they were doing
times.
F, but
there may be 1 or 2. But okay, think about this on TV. That show The League. Yeah, you know that's rated TVMA.
Yeah, it's
all they say is shit like a couple times.
Right.
They make jokes about sex, no nudity, no violence, and that's it. So that TVMA on basic cable, that's kind of where where it falls.
I mean, look, compared to Game of Thrones, Jessica Jones is Aladdin. Yeah. You know, it's like so, but that's the high standard as far as what HBO can do, and Showtime and stuff too. But anyway, yeah. So for me, I don't think we're gonna ever see a rated R Venom, and I don't really think it's necessary to do it. I still think you could do if you wanted to do a spin-off Venom movie, you could still do it really creepy and still do a PG-13. So yeah. Okay, what's next?
Dean X asks, hi, Collider. Do you think Arnold Schwarzenegger will appear in the new Predator movie?
Oh, God, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, it'd be so good to see Dutch, and even if he turned to someone else and was like, "What the hell are you?" Like whatever. He had so many great lines in that. That's where "Get to the chopper." That's where that came from. Like, so I want to see him not just to throw the one-liners, but I think it would tie the story well, because I thought that all the other Predator movies, I don't think there were a lot of Predator movies that were good except the first one, like the Danny Glover one, because they couldn't get Arnold back for the second one, and then the Adrian Brody one that came out recently. It had nostalgia in it because it had some of the score from the original one, the Alan Silvestri score. It had some of that, but it also, I don't know, it started to try to repeat the first one, and then it just went off the rails. So by putting Arnold in this new one, it ties it back. It's supposedly a sequel to the first movie and whatever Shane Black's going to do. And I think Shane Black and Arnold's still talking, so I hope. Do you think he's going to be in it?
I hope so. And something more than a cameo, but at the same time, I don't want him to be like the main focus as well.
No, he shouldn't be.
And I do hope they stay like in the jungle area. Maybe they run into him, like he's there as like surviving, or maybe he
just lives there now?
Yeah, he lives there. He's like crazy. Maybe Hunt tries to like...
He's in the mud like he wasn't.
Yeah. So something like that, where they run into him, he gives them some advice, and then they go on their way.
He's just like an old shaman that lives in the woods. I hope... I don't know, even if he was like, he helps to lead them in there, and then... I'm so curious to see what Shane Black is going to do with this movie. It's exciting. Like, I would have... When we were talking about Predator, the sequel here, like on Mailbag, like... months and months ago when it was announced, I would have sold it right away if Shane Black wasn't doing it. But because of his involvement in the first one, because he wrote some of it, I think, most of it, and he was certainly in it. So I'm really curious and excited to see what happens with Predator. All right, Natasha, what's next?
Jeff Stevens writes, what do you guys think about the idea of Alexandra Daddario playing Captain Marvel? Most would think that she isn't good enough compared to most of the other actresses suggested for the part, some of which I would also like to see, but I feel like she hasn't necessarily had the opportunity to fully prove that she could pull it off, even though she could very well do so. Her performance in San Andreas certainly showed promise of some palpable heroic prowess that could fit Captain Marvel. Also, do you think Marvel will look into her when the time comes?
Tell you what, Jeff Stevens, you are correct, sir. I think that she is a really good actress. And not only was she was, look, San Andreas, call it what it was a popcorn movie that was ridiculous on all accounts, but she was really good in it, and she was engaging to watch. And in True Detective, quiet, you creep in the back. It's not because of that reason. It's because of you even watch what she had to do emotionally in that series, and she was really good. She is a good actress. She's not just looks, and I think to be able to put her as Captain Marvel, because she's also young enough. Like for me, and it's similar to what we were talking about in yesterday's Mailbag with Stephen Lang, is that if you put someone like, although my first choice, and I would love to have Katie Sackhoff as Captain Marvel. She's also almost 40 years old, and they're not gonna make Captain Marvel probably for another year or two, and they're gonna want to keep putting her in more and more movies. Same thing goes with Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt, I think, is like 37, 38. So for me, this is a great choice. I had never even thought about her before. Do you care?
I'm a little undecided on that, because I've seen Alexandra Daddario in San Andreas, and I've seen her in True Detective, and I think she's pretty good, but I haven't seen enough from her to see if she can anchor and lead a film. Right. Kind of like a question mark we have with Gal Gadot, right? Like she hasn't really, led anything significant, where I didn't see those Percy Jackson movies that she was in either.
I mean, the movies aren't that good, but the argument that I would have against that is that Gal Gadot, for the most part, we've seen her in the Fast and Furious movies, and there's no range except go fast and blow things up.
And go fast and go furious.
As we're in, again, True Detective, and even in San Andreas, her emotional level, she had to hit a lot of different places that, especially in San Andreas, she didn't have to hit. It would have just been like one note, but she wasn't. There was much more to her. So that's why I actually think she's got a lot more chops. And yes, look, let's call it what it is. She got a lot of publicity because she was nude in that True Detective scene. But there was so much more to her in that season. Like, she really played a damaged woman, and I bought it. Everything about her because of what she did performance-wise. But did you watch True Detective, or did you see San Andreas?
No, and I don't really know much of her, but I'm all for, giving an actress a chance to prove her chops. I think the person who asked the question was saying, she really hasn't had the opportunity. Right. So maybe this is her opportunity.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't think she'd be my first choice. I mean, you mentioned Emily Blunt and Katie Sackhoff. Those two are kind of more natural choices for me. I don't know how old or young they want to go with it.
Right. All right. What's next?
Chris Fang writes, "Hi everyone. I've been watching for years and appreciate all the hard work everyone puts into making your show great. I just revisited Watchmen and I felt that Jackie Earle Haley's performance as Rorschach stood out to me acting-wise above everyone else. I looked up his acting credits and he hasn't gotten any major roles since then. Do you guys have any opinion on why this might be?"
It's a great question, Dennis. What do you think?
I mean, let's be honest. He doesn't fit the description of a leading man, right? Like, he's a great actor. He was great in Watchmen as Rorschach. He had a small role in Shutter Island. And he played Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Plays
reboot.
a great creep.
Yeah. So I don't think there's that many type of roles for him, and so that's where I think the problem is.
It is. He's been typecasted as creep because even Rorschach creepy. Like he had the Batman voice going though too, and it was perfect for it too. The guy is a phenomenal actor, but he just he's got typecast, and that happens in Hollywood. And you remember he had a comeback, because for a long time he was in movies when he was younger, and then disappeared, and then he popped back up for a short stint. And don't be surprised, because he's so talented that he does hit a role in like a big movie with an Oscar-nominated film where he will be back again, and he's still working. Yeah, he's just not in any high-profile movies that we're talking about.
Yeah, he's a talented actor. Yeah. You just won't see him as the main leading man for the next superhero movie.
Right. That's not. Yeah, that definitely won't happen. All right, what's next?
Critic Uncle asks, "Hello, Collider crew. I'm a big fan and have been watching for a very long time. What film will make more money? Captain America: Civil War or Batman vs Superman?"
Do you know how hard I struggled for picking this question? Because I knew that this is like holding dynamite and going like this. But I figured let's go for it. Let's go for it and see what we thought, and then you guys can either yell at us, yell at each other. Let's just yell all the way around. Get it out. Let's talk about what we think is going to make more money, because I can already see the comments. So there's like Marvel fanboys, DC fanboys. So have a blast. But what I will say is, if you really look at it, this is going to be a dogfight. I think it's going to be a dogfight, and I think because you have Batman v Superman comes out in March, it's got the advantage of really going up against nothing for the most part, and it'll be able to live on through April, as where Civil War comes out in May. We'll have a strong opening, probably strong second opening. Then it's summer season, so people are going to start picking at it a bit too. So the money will start coming off a little bit more, and then it'll make money overseas, and it'll do big numbers. I mean, and you also have to go with the fact that Batman and Superman are arguably the most recognized superheroes / characters of all time. So, and I've been saying this. Had Tyson and Holyfield fought in 1990. This is what I wanted to see. I finally get to see these guys fight, and then I finally get to see the formation of the Justice League. So, and Ben Affleck now, but then you have Robert Downey Jr. and Evans going. It's a dogfight. So I'm going to say, by just a little bit, on a worldwide, what makes more money? Batman v Superman. Just on a worldwide. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with Batman v Superman. I think it's just more highly anticipated. I think people haven't seen that on screen before. They haven't seen Batman versus Superman fight. And with Civil War, we've seen a lot of these Avengers movies. We saw even in the first Avengers, we saw Captain America fight with Thor and Iron Man and all that stuff. We saw Thor fight the Hulk. Batman v Superman is something we've been waiting for a long time to see. So I think it's going to make more money. Now I'm going to throw some more dynamite into your hands that you're juggling.
What if it's bad?
No.
Okay.
Which one's going to be better? Which movie is going to be better? I'm saying Batman v Superman will make more money. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a better film.
Well, and this is something that just came out today. So and this is something we should talk about actually too. So Anthony Mackie had an interview. I believe it was today that this dropped, and he had an interview about how good the movie was. And he's like, because he's seen it, right? And he said it's great. an actress in a movie that he said is great. But then he said, "Listen, I would say that if it sucks, like, even if it was a Marvel movie, I would say that it sucks." And I've seen Anthony Mackie going back. He hates Man of Steel. He went back and forth with Frosty about it. But again, that's a DC movie. But he said he would call it what it is, and he says that it's the best movie they've ever done. But in that interview, what he said was that, and I don't know if it's out there. So he spoiled someone being in this movie that we didn't know was in this movie, because he was like, "Oh, Robert Downey Jr. is great in this movie, and Chris Evans is great, and then so and so is great."
Blah, blah.
And if you don't want to know, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But they're like, "Well, wait a minute, so and so is in this movie."
Howard the Duck.
Well,
Howard, that's blah.
You got it. It's a crossover.
Yeah,
it's a crossover. But so it's as far as the answer to your question is, I do think Civil War is going to be the better movie, only because we are so far along in this story that I just think we're more connected to the characters and the overall tone of what we're getting from the Russo brothers. I have said it, and I'll say it every time I have the opportunity to say it, that The Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie by far, and I think that they're going to continue what they had started there. And I just feel overall that it's not a lot of setup and getting you introduced into this world. It's a continuation, so I think it's going to be the better movie.
All right, so I'll also jump into this dynamite pile as well, and say I agree with you. I think it's going to be Winter Soldier. And look, we're speculating here. We don't know if it's going to be better or not. We're just guessing.
Right.
I think it's for that same reason where, if you look at the last movie that each of these directors have done, we're looking at the Russo brothers and Civil War. So the last movie they did was Winter Soldier.
Right.
Zack Snyder, his last movie was Man of Steel, which I liked as well. And I do think Batman v Superman is going to be a good movie. But I liked Winter Soldier more than I liked Man of Steel.
Yeah.
So therefore, by that, I think Civil War is going to pull it off more.
Natasha, so you have the two questions on the table. One,
Don't throw no dynamite at me,
no, too
Kristian.
late. It already blew up.
We're juggling it. We're throwing
Yeah,
it
It
to
was
each
like
other.
flying over my head.
We got like the smoky hair all over. Yeah. So what do you think as far as what will make more money overall, and then which one will be the better movie?
Well, I actually agree with you guys, and I don't know as much as both of you know at all in terms of these movies. But I definitely do think Batman versus Superman is going to make more money. And it's funny, I went out with my girlfriends the other night, and these are girls, like, we never talk about Marvel movies or superhero movies at all. And we were talking about Batman versus Superman, and I was just sitting there like, wow, this is interesting. And I think it was Jason Inman last week was talking about, his mom in like the Midwest, talking about, I want to see Batman versus Superman. So I definitely think it'll reach more of a wider audience. I like Captain America a lot. I haven't seen
Winter Soldier.
Oh man, you got to see that one.
I know. But I'm going to go along with that one being, the better movie.
Of the two?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but going back to what you're saying, like that's my point, is that everyone knows Batman or Superman. And when you find out, I think that the reason we got that trailer that we didn't love is because they got nervous and thought people were going to be scared that Batman was fighting Superman, but it turns out to be the opposite. When you say it's a curiosity of why are Batman and Superman fighting, and they embraced that in that last trailer, and it just set the internet on fire. So, all right, we'll see. We're going to see what happens there. You guys, I'm sure you've already been commenting as we've been talking, but I want to know more from you guys. If we can have a reasonable conversation about it, let's try. Let's do. So what do you guys think? What will be the movie that makes the most, and what will be the movie that you think will be better? And give your reasons why without being a ball bag. All right, here we go.
Let the explosions begin.
Yeah.
Illy really writes, in regards to tone in film, what is more important in setting the tone in a story? Direction, dialogue, or cinematography? Thank you for all the shows.
I have to say it's a lot of I say all of those, but I'd have to start with direction, because direction is the one who's going to tell the cinematographer kind of what they're envisioning, and then kind of making sure that their vision of the story takes place. So I'd have to say direction is definitely the start of it all, because you look at if you want to piece apart like what Scorsese does, it's his vision, it's the way he's going to shoot it, it's the script, it's getting the actors in place. So I have to say it's hands down the direction.
Yeah, 100% the director, because they're the one who sets a tone in terms of with the actors. So you get the script, right?
Right.
And the actors read the lines. The director is the one that molds it and shapes it in terms of how they want them to say it. Because you can say a line, and it can either come off, funny or angry or happy or sad or whatever. That's still the same line, and it's the director that makes sure that it fits into what the story is.
Right.
And then same with the cinematographer. He's the one who's telling the cinematographer, this is how we want to light it, this is how the movement we want, and all of that stuff. Obviously, both the actors and the cinematographer are collaborators, and they give their feedback to the director. But overall, the director is the guy who oversees it all. And that's why in movies that you see that are kind of messy or confusing is because the director is not setting the tone for what the movie's supposed to be, and they aren't focused on that. And that means the actors are off script, and they don't know what they're supposed to be saying or how they want to say it, and then you end up getting something that's, well, is this supposed to be funny or is this supposed to be sad, and all that stuff. And that, I think the director is definitely where the buck stops.
I agree. Okay, what's next?
All right, Dominic writes, hey guys, you guys are the best. Keep up the great work. Got a question on Batman vs. Superman. There have been many allusions to the Joker, Robin suit, Bruce and Clark's talk, etc. Now, even if Joker didn't come in at some point, wouldn't we know because it would have required him to be on set, and there were never words of him being there? P.S. Congrats to all of you. Best of luck in all future endeavors, John. I'll be watching every day, as I always do, and I can't wait for Schmoes.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for the nice words for John. We're going to talk a little bit about that a little later here. But in regards to the Joker, yeah, man, I agree with you. I think that we live in a place that if the Joker was on set for Batman v Superman, we would have heard about it. Now, the argument to that is if this thing that Anthony Mackie slipped out comes true, we didn't hear about that. So maybe, who the hell knows? Maybe he was on it. Maybe they snuck him in at one point, or maybe they shot something for him on the Suicide Squad set, and then forwarded over the footage there. So it's certainly possible that they could have done it without anybody knowing, but I tend to think we might have heard about it.
I think they could have.
Yeah.
If they did this, they shot a separate scene that is not part of the overall storyline. So
like a post-credit or something?
Post-credits, or like it's not at the same location, right? Obviously, if he shows up on set, people are going to hear about it, definitely, for sure. But if they do, let's say, a post-credit scene where the Joker is at Arkham Asylum, and that's in studio, they go to the Warner Brothers lot, and Jared Leto shoots a scene, maybe Ben Affleck, and it's all hush-hush secret, they could pull that off, because that's a little less conspicuous, where you're not saying, okay, there's, because we all know Batman's in Suicide Squad, because we've seen all those damn pictures from behind the
even
scenes.
The trailer, they threw him in there too.
Yeah, but I mean, even before that, before we even saw that,
he was walking around.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. But I think they could do it, but it would have to be some sort of thing they shoot like on a studio lot.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that if they did it, it'll probably, whether it's on a studio lot or, again, they had David Ayer shoot some stuff for him and they just stuck it in there. In like a flashback scene where it's like haunting Batman or something too. It's possible, but you're right. If it was something to where he was going to be on set, we probably would have heard about it. All right, what is the last one?
Matthew Yamasaki writes, hey Collider, so I was wondering what's going on with the Sherlock Holmes sequel. Last I heard was that there was some script development issues, but that was reported years ago. I personally would love to see a Sherlock versus Jack the Ripper film, maybe even with the aid of Moriarty. Thanks, and keep up the great work.
I think they're still working on it. They're still trying to get it done. Because it's one of Silver Pictures' go-tos. It's one of the things that they had that worked. I mean, they have Nice Guys that's coming out as well, but this is a movie. The first two have worked. The second one was a little bit more disappointing. The first one I really enjoyed, but I think that it's just a matter also of finding time when Downey's available. Because he's got all this stuff that's going on with Civil War, and he's going to be tied up with the Avengers. He signed this. I think that originally when they started kind of thinking about Sherlock 3, that he wasn't all the way locked into the Civil War yet, and all these other. So it's kind of putting a damper on things. So I don't know. I tend to think that it will happen. I think that they'll make it happen. He's had a pretty good relationship with Silver Pictures for a while, so I think it'll happen.
I think it's going to happen as well. I saw the first one. I enjoyed it. I didn't see the second one, but everything I heard was that it wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't as good as the first one. I think they're going to make the third one because, Robert Downey Jr., his schedule is busy. But once it opens up, they're going to do it. Guy Ritchie, if you think about it, if you look at his last 3 movies. 2 out of the 3 are the Sherlock Holmes movies, and those are the 2 that made money.
Right.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. was a big box office disappointment. He's doing post-production on Knights of the Round Table right now, so I don't know what his next project is. So I think he's definitely open to it. So I see it definitely happening.
Okay.
And it's also Sherlock Holmes is, if people don't know, that's like a public domain character.
Yeah.
You and me can make a Sherlock Holmes movie.
That'd be amazing.
We don't have, the only thing you can't do is you can't take things from other people's depictions of it.
Okay.
But from the original source material, you could do it. Just the same with like Three Musketeers and all those other things that have been around for so long.
All right, that's it. That's the show today. But before we go, there are a couple things that if you didn't see, well, yesterday's mailbag, but if you didn't see the show on Wednesday, we had a really big announcement that happened here on Collider. Well, one of those things, obviously, was that the Schmoes Know is now a part of Collider. That means anything that if you go to the Schmoes Know channel and you go to any of the reviews or our main show that's coming back, they will all be presented by Collider. It also means that there's some brand new shows coming in. We also, Dennis and I in a second are going to be talking about the Ultimate Schmoedown game show because I want to know who Dennis is going to challenge because Dennis was really good in the team tournament. But the other thing was the fact that John Campea has resigned, and in that Dennis is now going to be running the production here at Collider. So I know Dennis wanted to say a couple things, and I'd love to hear from him.
Yeah. It was announced on Wednesday. You can go check out that video that John has resigned, and you can see what he says about that. But yeah, I mean, first of all, we all obviously have to say thanks to John because he's the one who helped build this and create the team and assemble the team and keep it together through all kind of the rough patches.
Definitely.
Transferring from AMC to Collider/Complex, and just to let you guys know, I'm not replacing John. John, especially as the main host. Kristian and Mark will be doing the bulk of the hosting. I'll still do Fridays, but more the day-to-day studio operations of that. And we're going to be doing a lot of new shows. I mean, obviously with you guys coming aboard, we're going to do more commentary videos, trailer reviews, obviously the Schmoedown, but then also we're going to start doing more TV coverage as well. And we're just in the process of trying to figure out how we're going to do that in terms of using the team here and our personalities, and also getting in some new on-camera personalities and working them in.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And if you guys saw my tweet also, that the thing that I'll be doing here is that I'll be the director of development, also helping Dennis develop shows and coming up and helping bringing in some talent here as well too. And that's one of the things that we all listen to you guys and hear what you guys are saying. If there's someone that you want to see on Jedi Council or on Heroes or on Movie Talk or and in Schmoedown and all this stuff, suggest it. That's the whole point, is that instead of just saying silly, look, a lot of you guys, 95% of you guys are amazing fans that just want to have conversations about movies. And then there's people who just, for the sense of it, I feel like being a ball bag today, and it happens. I get it. But what I would say is, if there's things that you want to see or you're curious about, make your suggestions for sure. There's someone that you, I would love to see this person on Movie Talk. Let us know. We'll reach out. There's somebody that, I think this person would love to see this, or the main thing that I'm asking for the Schmoedown too is I want to know who you want to see, who you think are the best people knowledge-wise. I would love to see a Dennis Schnepp versus Dennis Schnepp. There you go. That is. I would love to see Dennis Tzeng versus John Schnepp. I would love to see that match. And who knows if it's going to happen, but it's just the possibilities out there. I was talking to Natasha about it too. Natasha's like a Disney fanatic. I want to see her challenge somebody in Disney movies. You versus Hal Rudnick would be amazing. So there's so much to do, and it's also you guys. You guys are going to be instrumental in helping us make this thing work. So keep suggesting everything you're doing. Dennis is going to kick ass. We're going to help him, and let's make this thing work.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it. That is Collider Mailbag. And again, you guys, make sure that you go to collidervideo@gmail.com. Keep submitting the questions. I also will be doing these mailbags with Dennis and Natasha every Saturday and Sunday. You guys keep tuning in. Make sure if you're not watching AMC, go to AMC and go check out AMC movie theaters. They got a lot of great stuff there.
They just got a free plug.
They got a free plug. So make sure, coming soon, AMC. Make sure that you go to Collider Movie Talk Monday through Friday. Make sure you check out Jedi Council, Heroes, all the stuff that we got coming up. Make sure you check it all out, and we'll see you next week. Great.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.